So what's more concerning, that the president had this pre-planned question from the LA Times reporter, or that he needed it?
All of it should be very concerning to voters across the country, regardless of political party, because what they've done is they've kind of opened the curtains and allowed us to have some insight into what is truly the sickness of our democracy, this direct collusion between the mainstream media. We see it with big tech and the social media giants. We see it with the national security state working with the Biden administration to get the effect that they want. And their effect that they want is to be able to maintain their power dangerously. Not only are they all feeding us the same propaganda points that support their narrative of the day, but they also are weaponizing our law enforcement to be able to go after and silence even the smallest of critics, those who dare to challenge their narrative or question what are you doing and how is this in the best interest of our country? Because time and time again, as we go down these different issues, as we look at President Biden's record, their actions and policies are not in the best interest of the American people in our country.
No, and they not only have mainstream media, they've also got big tech. And we've learned that since Elon Musk has shed a little sunlight on what was going on at Twitter when they silenced the Hunter Biden laptop story that the New York Post had been reporting on right before the election. And, you know, these are pillars that should not be commingled. To your point, it is incredibly dangerous to our civil liberties, and it poses a great threat. But I don't know if I'm more disappointed in the president's handlers or the reporters who are going along with this. The fact that, you know, we don't have an adversarial press corps because we should. The president of the United States has so much power. The good thing about a democracy is that power is kept in check, not only by the other branches of government, but by the media, which is supposed to be skeptical. And I'm wondering, you know, what would have happened to this reporter if she had asked a totally different question? How would she have been ostracized?
Not only ostracized, but I would imagine that whatever access she or her outlet has had would probably be curtailed because she wouldn't be part of the inside crowd. You mentioned the Twitter files. How did the mainstream media cover the Twitter files, if they covered it at all? They didn't focus on this, and they didn't focus on what was exposed there because it didn't support their narrative, and it actually shined a light on this corruption and collusion that we're talking about. I think this is very clearly why the American people feel so disconnected, both from the mainstream media, but really permanent Washington, all of these powerful entities working to undermine our democracy, not because they love and believe Joe Biden is the best president this country's ever had, but because they are all part of this cabal of permanent Washington that is solely interested in their own power and advancing their own selfish interests. That's the danger that we're facing.
Maintaining their power and maintaining the status quo. Now, one of the best things about your run in 2020 is making waves during this presidential debate back in 2019. You mixed it up with now Vice President Kamala Harris. Remember this?
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you were in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Congresswoman Gabbard, has your opinion of our vice president changed?
This might shock you, Kennedy, but no. The answer is no. Time after time, for as long as she's been in this position, we saw it during the presidential campaign, those presidential primaries. We've seen it throughout her time serving as vice president, just how incapable she is at doing the job that she currently has. What to speak of what we all know is likely to happen if President Biden is reelected. This isn't really about President Biden reelection. This is about the Kamala Harris coronation that will come likely very shortly after a President Biden victory. She will be disastrous for this country, catastrophic, if she is put in that position of commander-in-chief, unelected and unchallenged by the American people.
And we need more people like you to challenge that power. She was the anointed from the establishment until you took her candidacy apart. More of that, please. Thank you so much, Tulsi. Good to see you.
Thanks, Kennedy.